it's scary, and it's actually really smart how you hear this like this really weird, freaky 1970s music, and then they'll completely remove the music, and you'll just hear the creaking of the door, and the camera will go.
And all of a sudden they'll throw in that fucking violin.
Yeah.
Throw in the violin. Throw in the violin.
That's what Mozart did.
Fuck you, Franco.
Is that what Mozart did? He's like, fits.
We watched a movie. Yeah. We watched a movie. We watched it. We watched a movie. Yeah. You know what? We did a review. We watched a movie.
Hello, welcome back to We Watched a Movie. My name's Mike and his name's Jay, and we're reviewing the Amityville Horror.
Wow.
Mentally ill from Amityville.
Scary.
Who's it star?
James Brolin, Margot Kidder, and I really wish I knew the other guy because he's famous too. There's three top guys in the building. Anyway, so the movie's about this family that moves into this house.
The Lutz family.
The Lutz, George and Kathy Lutz. They take their young children, their youngest adopted son David, and they move into this haunted house basically. And there were murders that occurred there by Defoe. He killed all of his family. And so obviously, you know, there's going to be fucking hauntings. I mean, you don't go to a house and they're like, yeah, guess what? They killed 8 people.
Plus it was built on a fucking burial ground.
That's what they say.
No, that's not true.
That's just, why do you do that? Why do you do that? Like, when somebody tells you, it's like, hey, guess what? There's like 8 people murdered in your house. And on top of that, the sugar coating, it's on a Native American burial ground. It's like, okay, sign me up. I want to know.
And not just a burial ground, but when you hear Native American burial ground, you know you're done.
Yeah, I mean, if it's like a Celtic burial ground, fuck it. We'll wear kilts. So yeah, so that's pretty much the whole movie. That's the story. This house is haunted. You know, I think they're there for like 20 days, 19 days. All this crazy shit starts happening, and they move out and leave all their belongings based on a true story. So that's it, depending on who you ask. But let's just talk about the movie. The movie overall. The acting's pretty good. And I want to know what happened to Margot Kidder, because she actually looked pretty cute in this. Based what she looked like on Superman, I don't think she looked good in Superman at all. I think she looked like a crackhead in
Superman and Amityville Horror. Superman and the Amityville Horror, I would have thrown her the D.
The Dalmatian?
Yeah.
That means dick. Yeah, but she had little pigtails, and it's 1970-ish, so she looked cute. I thought she looked really cute in this movie, and the acting overall wasn't terrible. The only thing I didn't like about this movie, I could say right now, is I think that it felt like staggered.
The whole thing was hit and miss.
Yeah.
You mentioned the acting. The acting, sometimes Brolin, it was like, that guy, I want to watch him. Like, on the screen, every movie he makes, like, he's really interesting to watch. And other times he would do stupid shit, like make a dumb face, and you're like, that was dumb.
That was actually one of the things that people talked about, was like his eyes were so, like, it was funny.
Yeah.
Like he throws an axe at a tree and goes, like, you know, it's like they zoomed in on his face, and it was supposed to be, I guess, scary, but
And when you get mad too, like the kid will run over here and be like, don't run up behind me, God damn it. You know, and it was so serious. And then, there's a lot of really, really, really cheesy moments in this movie. First off, the sex scene, oh my god. The sex scene is atrocious. He's like, like, it's almost like he should have walked in the room and unbuttoned his shirt and just had a hairy chest, you know? And they're like making love, and there's soft, sensual music playing behind, and he's like, what was it he said? He's like, I feel like a teenager in the backseat of a car. Like, who says that?
I would that'd be like me saying where you had sex for the first time. Like, it's like a kid in the candy shop.
It's like Jim Carrey and fucking Dumb and Dumber. It's like, I desperately want to make love to a schoolboy. Wait.
Girl? It's like, do you want to be my candy cane?
And it was like 10 minutes, then like...
I always thought it was funny when he walked in the room and she's like doing that ballerina thing, which makes no sense. And she's doing her, like, she's stretching, and he was like...
I'm not gonna lie though.
I know it was sexy, but he just stood there and he was like, I'm gonna go get cleaned up first. But he just looked like he was like, I do gay porn. And that big old manly beard.
What is it about though? And your next day the same thing. Chicks with no bra on and button-up shirts that barely cover up their nippy lips. There's something extremely hot about that. Because I just want to be like, you know, I'll uncover the greatness with just a swoop of thy hand.
You just blow it.
Show the wonders.
I saw a nipple.
You did that, dude. When we walked in and your girlfriend or wife was like, she just had her boobs barely covered up by her shirt, and you were like,
show me the goodness.
And then the music for Halo comes on. It's like,
I'm gonna drop my warthog in your gas station. But yeah, so that happened. Like, so
show me Master Chief. Sorry,
I'm gonna show you a video game. Yeah, so I mean, overall the acting was pretty decent. Like you said, hit or miss. I just thought the whole movie, like the scenes, the editing part of it was staggered. I think that sometimes it made sense and sometimes it didn't. Like I don't like the beginning of the movie was kind of like.
You actually look like you smelled the stinky poop.
Yeah, I did. Well, it's like when you watch it, it's like, well, did you fart? Like nothing happened. Like it was just like there was a murder, and you see the gunshots were pretty cool, and then you see the cops show up, and they're like, there was a murder. It's like, oh.
Yeah, but overall...
And he was like, there was a murder? It's like, yeah. And then it was like, the DeFeo killed like 8 people across the top.
But at the same time, that is the perfect epitome of this movie, though, because you've got those scenes and it's cheesy and it's like out of nowhere and it's like the acting's terrible at some points. Like all the role actors for the most part are terrible. I mean, atrociously terrible. But you've got those scenes like the DeFeo killings at the beginning. Like it's cheesy and it's whatever and it's old and it's it's outdated and stuff like that. But just the creepy like home video feel of it when all of a sudden like it would clip to like the guy walking around with the shotgun like shoot, and they show the kids getting shot and shit. Back then that was unheard of.
That was cool. I know I'm saying not that the kids were killed. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it was cool like how they showed like they would show the house and you see the gunshots like the flash of light. I like that. I'm just saying I didn't like what they did with that right after that because I just thought the cops being there was just kind of like added on. It just felt tacked. But then after that, when the woman was showing the Lutz's the house, and then it would go, oh, and it would shut back the exact same scene that you just saw like 5 minutes ago. And I was like, I already seen this.
But I don't know. But I like that because it just inserted this like creepy, like just weird, cheap.
It inserted something.
Horror, cheap slasher like thrill to me. I don't know what it was. But that bitch who was showing them the house, like how dumb is she? Like she's all scared of this house and shit like that, and then she's gonna do her paperwork in the house. Go home and do your shit at your own desk.
I know, but when the papers start flapping, she's like, "Oh no, fuck this."
Yeah, but why did you even start? If you're scared of the house, why? I could go home and do it, or I could do it in this house. I'm scared, fucking shit.
Well, I felt bad. Well, at first I thought she was a bitch. I was like, all right, she's a real estate agent and she didn't care. But the Lutzes knew that it was fucking haunted, or that there was murders there. So
she's like, I just hate that there were killings here.
I do too.
But I would have done the same thing. I mean, a house that big for that cheap, you're like, a couple people died. At that point, they didn't know there was a burial ground. I would have taken the deal.
I don't know about that.
You would have taken the deal,
dude. If fucking 6 people have been shot and murdered in that house, and they're like, we're gonna give you for $80,000. It's worth $120.
But it's like
no.
It's like they said in Hell Baby though. It's like how many houses have murders in them? You know, if this house has already had a murder in it, then the chance of them having another murder in them is by far less.
I don't want to go and live in a house. If my rules are, do not live in a house made in 1950 or less.
Yeah.
Because I gotta have that shit new. I was saying that the script overall is not bad, and I think I read somewhere that they took a lot of stuff that happened in the book and they put it in there, but a lot of stuff didn't happen. They just made it scarier for film. But I think that my main gripe with it is the pacing of it. That's what I'm talking about. That's where it's staggered, because you'll have these really creepy moments in the movie where they build on it, but nothing happens. Then you'll jump to an edit for it, and it just takes you out of the scene. Well, like to me, I was just like, oh, the pace, because you'll have nothing, nothing, and then nothing. It's like it's just staggering.
Well, it's almost like what the movie felt like to me was there was moments of greatness, unintentional greatness. Yeah. What this movie is to me, this movie is a cult movie that never got the chance to have cult status because it's such a big movie. Like it feels like a cult movie. It acts like a cult movie. Like it's this movie. Like it's not scary by the essence of it. Like it's not scary everything you watch, but there's just something underlying creepy about it that's unintentional that works. And it's like you said, it's like there was an amazing horror director who sometimes let his 4-year-old film. Like there were certain scenes like when they're coming out of the restaurant or whatever, or the bar or whatever it was, and they're and the camera's inside the car, and they're just it's just a simple scene of them walking out, and there's this weird like music like. And then they're walking out, and the camera's backing up, and it's fucking like genius. And then there's other scenes like we were talking about when he like gets mad and like throws the axe. It's like he's sitting there cutting the axe, and his friend comes over, and he's like, let's go do this. And he's like, okay, and he's holding the axe. He's like, hang on. He's like, and it hits the tree, and then it's like all of a sudden it comes back to him. He's like, it's like terrible.
Well, that was a bad act. That whole scene was bad. He's like, these paychecks have to be signed. You said, he's like, what day is it? He was like, it's Thursday. They should have been mailed Wednesday. It's like, yeah, well, that's why I'm here. I told the man I'd give it to you hand personally, and also some caterer screaming that you owe him $25 or $1,500 that you owe him a check. He's like, don't you have any good news? He's like, I brought you the light for your boat. He's like, oh. And he was like happy. It was a badly shot scene.
We'll put it in together now. You want to be best friends? Let's do karate in the garage.
Okay. I mean, that whole scene was just a terrible scene. It's sad too because James Brolin's actually a really good actor. The thing is, like when he slaps Margot Kidder in the face, he slaps her, and her nose is instantly bloody. By the way, he slaps her, it's like instant, and she's like ah, and then he grabs his pile of wood, and he's like by the fire, and he's going. He looked like a caveman. Like, now go back dinner.
But it was a perfect assumption of the time too, though. I mean, and it's just like you said, the makeup though looked great.
Looked awesome.
The makeup looked great as he deteriorates. Oh my god, it's freaky because they get close up in his eyes and he's like gray and charcoal looking. That looked awesome.
You know what I think is an underrated scene? Like I don't think most people would even point it out, like say it was anything like significant in the movie, but I thought it was really significant. I actually looked at it, I was like, that's actually pretty scary. is when he's sitting there and like he walks downstairs after remember he's waking up every morning at 3:15 in the morning. That one scene where Margot Kidder wakes up and says she got shot in the head. That was kind of scary.
That was freaky.
But when he goes downstairs,
oh dude, the reason that was so I'll let you finish your point. I just want to say that exact scene when she's having that dream, freaked me the fuck out because the moments like that. It's just so slow burn. When it catches you with these off the wall, like gritty fucking moments, like he's standing there over a fucking kid that's been cut in half by a fucking axe.
When she like,
you're like, oh god, it's a fucking kid that's been cut in half by a fucking axe, and it fucks with you.
Because immediately she's like, we're getting a divorce. Immediately that's happening. But that also made you throw back to Jack Nicholson, especially near the end when he's chopping the door down. But anyway, I'm just saying when that scene happened, I do. If that had happened in real life, if you woke up and your wife, it's like she got shot in the head, like James Brolin, I'm like, he just went back to sleep. I'm like. I would have woke up like, what are you talking about? I was like, hey. And then she was like, I was like, wake up! I was like, what do you mean she got shot in the face? Who are you talking about? You got shot in the face? My mother? Who are you talking about? And she's like, she was like, you're gonna tell me who? And then I would not go back to sleep. James Brolin rolled back over and went to sleep. Now I was talking about, he's like, when James Brolin wakes up at 3:15 in the morning, he goes downstairs and then he falls on the floor and he's like, what do you want from me? And what stuff like that. Because his whole house, like the whole living room has been like, the carpet's been rolled up. Everything's been scripted. Have you ever heard that drum beat music?
Yeah.
And that whole scene that actually was like, I hear that drum. It's like, this is it. This is war. What are we waiting for? Like that song popped in my head. But when he walked down there and then he's like sitting on the chair after he fixed everything up, and right before he slaps Margot Kidder, and he wakes up and he's like, I'm coming apart.
Oh, like that was kind of creepy.
Yeah, when he screams, I'm coming apart.
Good God, I'm coming apart!
That part to me actually is underrated in the film to me. Most people don't mention it. That really showed like his break.
It's like amateur porn, man. The movie really is. No, I mean it is because it's
experienced are you?
It's so bad on so many levels and it's so outdated on so many levels.
Yeah.
But you've got these moments of pure genius where it's so gritty and old and like homely looking, like amateur porn.
Yeah.
And plus they have like
if it's it's amateur porn, but it's hot. That's hot.
It's like freaky weird, but it's hot.
What are you doing with that dildo? I want to know.
But it's so realistic because it's so old and it's so amateurly shot, and it makes it almost feel real, and that gives you this inside creepiness.
Well, see, actually, that part
escape.
when he was like pulling his hair and saying, "I'm coming apart," I rewound it because I was like, at first, it kind of caught me off guard when he says that, and then I rewound. I was like, "That's fucking awesome." That's like really masterpiece because it showed I know Stanley Kubrick and The Shining, they showed a really great job with Jack Nicholson coming going crazy, but that to realize at that point in that moment in your life that you're actually going crazy, and to know that you're going crazy at that point, like that was scary.
And it's also the classic diction with which he says it, you know, like I'm coming apart. Good God, it's like the old school acting that happens. But it makes it so much like
it was like creepy. It is like realistic because if you were in that situation, that scenario, and you knew you weren't really crazy, you never were crazy, but you start realizing that something was wrong. Like your brain was just going this way and that. And him vocalizing it was just amazing. And then she walks downstairs and he got those bite marks on his ankle. Yeah. It was like fucking insane.
In today's world, like if it wasn't the 70s and the movie was actually made today, you'd be like, what the fuck? What the fuck? You wouldn't say good God, I'm coming apart. But yeah, it was creepy.
That part to me. Most people don't mention it, but like that I said, those are few and far between. And like I said, I think that it's staggered, and I think and you mentioned it. Like I think it had potential. I think what the biggest problem with this movie is, I think it's unrealized potential of what this movie could have been.
And I think I think differently. I think this movie finds a place in horror that's untouched by anybody else. I think it's impressive in the way it does things because, like you said, so many things are so disturbing out of nowhere. Yeah. It's like, it's not a slow-burning movie, technically. Like, they do the Hollywoodish thing sometimes, but when stuff comes up, sometimes it shocks you, and then the way it shocks you, it kind of disturbs you in a way that other movies don't. So I think this movie kind of stands alone in its own weird way, which is like why I like it so much.
I don't hate it. No, I'm not saying I hate it. I just think that the first part of the movie is really good, and it's got the atmosphere. Like, the whole movie's got atmosphere. It's got, like, this scary atmosphere to it. I just think that they executed it wrong. I don't think they did it in the right way they could have done it. Yeah. And I think the problem with that is maybe it was the time, maybe they didn't have the technology to do what they needed to do, and I don't know. And then there's really cheesy parts. Even back then, it's got to be cheesy. Like when he's walking up with his axe, and you see that fucking wolf face in the maze, he's like, it just looks stupid. And then there was and another choppy editing scene is like when she's like, "Where's Jody?" And she's like, "She went out the window." He's like, "I'm just gonna go check." And then you see these like light bright eyes, and then she's standing by the door. She was at the window, and then they saw her, and it's like, and she's by the window or by the door. I mean,
but it's so cheesy and tacky. It almost makes it creepier.
But I don't know. Honestly, I wish I'd seen something I mean, because it always pumps you up to see something, and you don't see shit. And I get that it was Poltergeist.
But it's almost like it's so cheesy you don't understand what you're seeing, and thereby it almost freaks you out.
But I mean, you see blood on the walls, you see, and then you hear that one scene with the priest up there, and he's like, "Get out!" That was pretty badass.
But it sounded like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I know. I liked it because it was like a hissing kind of thing. But the priest immediately, he was like, "All right, fuck it," and he was just like immediately, it's like.
That's one thing I hated. I hated, and I know this it's integral to the story, but I hated the priest story.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, the thing with the priest is, like, it wasn't like Margot Kidder and James Brolin didn't know him. They had apparently, in the book or in real life, they had gone to church and they knew him on a personal level.
Which explains why.
But I'm saying, but they didn't show, like, that personal level at all.
But not only that, but I mean, in the movie-wise, when you're watching, it's like, the priest just walks in their fucking house and goes upstairs. You know, he looks outside of the kids, like, haha, kids playing. I'm going to walk and intrude in this house for no reason. But, I mean, I will say, the one part that was cool with the priest, the only part I really liked with the priest was the fly stuff I thought was dumb. That never got to me at all. And I know it's like a classic scene with the flies, but whatever. What got to me was he's in the church. And he's looking up at the Jesus and it's fucking flaking apart, and he goes blind. That's a creepy idea.
Well, that whole part, actually, when he starts getting really into this sermon, and he's screaming, and you see the angel's face cracking, and he's like screaming at the angel. I thought the other priest, though, he was just like, he just didn't move. He just like, look at me. He's like, he's really into this sermon. He's like, he feels the power of God. But yeah, but that was a good scene. And the sheriff in this movie was stupid.
Oh,
he was terrible. Why would you follow him around anyway?
And he's like, someone broke outside of your door.
Yeah.
But we keep it caught by close. And he's just the worst actor ever. We came out and talked to the priest. He's like, I'd like to talk to you about some things. Like, it's almost as if you could watch him reading the cue cards.
Well,
so bad.
The sheriff was like, he had no reason to follow the Lutzes.
Yeah.
There wasn't a murder or anything. Somebody broke into their house. I get what you're watching their house, but you're a detective, so shouldn't you put a patrolman on that job? And then that's fine if you want to keep a close eye on George because he looks like the DeFeo guy because he's starting to get possessed or whatever it was.
Which is cool how they tie that in.
But then you're following him around and you go up to the guy's like, I want to know what happened to Father Callahan. I want to know. So tell me. And then it's like, that was it. That was your whole involvement. You didn't even, he wasn't even there that
They
night.
said that same thing like 4 times. As like, I'd hate to be frank, but won't you just tell me what the fuck is going on? You know?
Can I still be Jay?
And James Brolin's a badass.
James Brolin's awesome.
In so many scenes in this movie, he's a badass, but he's also corny at the same time. Like you said, those little shots where they come to him and he'd be like, or the kid would walk and be like, God damn it, bitch! You know? It was just like, I don't know. Sometimes it works, sometimes
that's actually one of the things, most people talk about that. His kooky eyes.
Yeah.
Like, it's unintentional comedy.
Yeah.
And
it's also unintentional creepy.
The guy was like, I remember reading this one post, and the guy was like, does anybody else laugh at the scene when the nun comes in the house and she leaves because she gets sick and then she vomits on the outside? Like, she opens her door and she's like, oh. He's like, I don't know why I thought that was because it was a nun vomiting.
Well, not just that, but the stupid bitch Margot Kidder was like, don't let her leave, don't let her leave. It's like, bitch, she's sick, let her go home.
Well, Margot Kidder was, what I didn't get about that whole scene was that she's calling Father Callahan, I think it's Callahan, she's calling him to come to the house and she's begging him, come to me, daddy. But she's begging him to come over and bless the house or talk to him. Why didn't she just go to his place first instead of waiting all this time?
That's true.
All this crazy shit was going on. It kind of feels like shit happened, but it didn't happen in this movie.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you got flies, you got a sewer problem with like black poopy coming up out of the toilet. That never explained that.
That was fucking creepy though.
I know, but I mean, dude, you know what? If I saw black bile coming down my toilet, it's like, who the fuck's shitting here? And you're plunging it.
Well, not just that though. I mean, I will say most of the scares. I mean, for me, almost every scare in the movie worked, except the one scene where they're breaking into the red. Downstairs in the basement, they're bringing into the red area, and that bitch is like, "This is what."
That part was freaky to me.
Well, when she got possessed, it was creepy. But the whole face looking back, that was really.
It looked like Obi-Wan Kenobi in Empire Strikes Back. Like, come to Dagobah.
That was bad, but for the most part, all the other scares got to me in some sort of creepy, like underlying way. Like I'm not like genuinely like upfront scared by this, but it reaches someplace deep down inside of me that makes me feel sick to my stomach, and it scares me. So
much like George did the other night.
His name was Peter. Oh. No. But for all intents and purposes, for all intents and purposes, I know this story. I knew what was going to happen as far as the plot goes, and this movie still had this underlying cult fucking horror, creepy, awkward, unintentional weirdness that just made me fucking scared.
Yeah, this movie has no doubt found its way into the classic horror franchise, or at least classic haunted house movies. And the thing is, I think it was a lot of unrealized potential in it because it could have been an amazing 1970. It could have been The Shining. I think it could have been just as good as The Shining if they had just maybe tightened up some things, maybe added a little bit more here, taken a little bit less from here. Just some little things. But the one thing that this movie has that I will give it credit for is the whole thing is atmospheric. Yeah. It's totally atmospheric. You're totally buying into it. You want to know what's going to happen. You don't know what's going to happen next. And when the scenes when they're scary, when the music plays and when the music drops and the door just creaks open, you're like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
Like, that kind of scares you.
And that's the thing, like, ultimately, I give this movie an 8.5. It's an 8.5 for me. It's a classic movie, and even though it's kind of a joke now, it's been done so many times, you know it's coming, there's some cheesy stuff in it, and this and that, it's just got something to it, man. And it's got, like you mentioned, the atmosphere. To me, this movie, when I think about it, as a movie, it's like this creaky, old, freaky-ass house that's on its last heels that could collapse at any moment. But when it does collapse, there's going to be some freaky shit that come out of it. I mean, it's a movie that's barely standing as a legitimate movie, but at the same time, it's got just so much creepiness inside of it that it legitimately scares me in a way that other movies don't, for the most part. So it's an 8.5 for me.
I'm going to give it a 7.5. I love this movie. I think this movie is a great movie. I think it stacks up well with other haunted house movies of the time, and I got to keep it in mindset that it was made in the 70s. It was made in the late 70s, so it's not going to have all the greatest special effects. It's not going to have all this extra stuff that they can add now with computers and CGI. So I get that. I just think that as far as atmosphere goes, it was amazing. I thought the acting was good for the most part, but it just felt like how they tied some scenes together didn't work. It was it just wasn't there. You know, it was like a loosely stitched book. Sometimes it would fall out, like if the threads wouldn't be there. I don't know. But overall, the scares are good. Like, I mean, I'm not saying like the scares aren't good, but I just wanted the payoff at the end. I mean,
so question of the day, guys, is it's 8.5 for me. It's a 7.5 for you. Question of the day is going to be: do you guys believe the Defoe story? Not the Defoe story.
that happened.
Do you guys believe the Lutz story? Do you think that this is a real story, or do you think they were just trying to get out of their mortgage and all the other conspiracy theories that come with it?
I don't know. I know that one of the theories was that the guy was like, if they were trying to get out of their mortgage, they had time. You know, they didn't have to immediately leave. They could have done other things if they were behind on their mortgage. Yeah. I mean, they left like 18 days after they were there.
Yeah, and I think it's weird that nothing else has happened in the house since they left.
That is weird. But then again, if you watch My Amityville Horror Story or whatever, the guy, one of the sons that did the documentary, he said that George Lutz, he's an asshole, but he said George Lutz was in a lot of black arts, like black magic and shit. So that actually makes sense. If they were calling that shit down, if you're calling the thunder, you're going to get struck. So, I mean...
Maybe he was just learning about it to pull off the scam.
Well, I mean, that makes sense. Like, the way that George Lutz was, that he would be into that freaky fucking shit and trying to, like, do black magic and shit and call
Credit to them, though. I mean, if that was a scam, it fucking worked. I mean, this is how many years later we're still talking about it. And when you look at that house, I mean, it looks like it has a fucking face, does it not?
Yeah, well, they changed that now. They took those bay windows out.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you're right. There's been no occurrences or disturbances or anything. They actually let a... paranormal team in there not long ago, and they didn't catch it or find anything. So I think if anything did happen, I think the Lutzes had something to do with it.
Yeah.
I think they pulled some shit up, or they did some shit in the past, and they came there and did it, and that's what happened.
Yeah, I mean, it's either it's the house, which you can't say because so many people have moved in and nothing's happened, or it's the family, who clearly says ever since they left, nothing's really happened.
Do you believe that kid, Miamiville Horror guy?
I don't even.
Or do you think
he's a liar? That kid is so like burnt out.
Do you think he's like a shell shock goat? Like, do you think something happened to him? And he's so fucked up.
I think it's bullshit. I think he wants to blame everybody else for capitalizing on the success of it, but he doesn't quite want to let it go either. So he still says it was real, but they were assholes. I don't know.
Well, here's another question: would you move into a house if you knew there were murders? If there were 6 murders in a house, would you still move into it if the price was right?
You got a really good deal on it, though.
All right, say if a house costs $180,000 and we're going to sell it to you for $80,000, $100,000 less.
I think I'd give it a shot.
I'd say they're 1.9.
We're going to be eating tuna casserole for months, Katie. Good. I'm Mike. He's Jay. We'll see you guys next time on
Boats and Hosts.
We watched a movie.